Myself, Mr. Mate HT, Department of Botany, RBNB College, Srirampur. Today we are going to study T.Y.B.Sc Botany, and from this semester second paper first, BO 121. And the name of the paper, that is Plant Life and Utilization second. And from this paper, the topic name, that is the Gymnosperms. So today we are going to see the reproduction in the gymnosperm, that is into the cycas. So we are going to study the life cycle of the cycas. So reproduction. Now cycas reproduces by two different types of the methods, that is the vegetative reproduction and the sexual reproduction. Now from this, the first, that is the vegetative reproduction. Now here this is the plant of the cycas, and on the lower side of this stem there develops a small structures, and they are called as the bulbil or the adventitious buds. They are developed on male plant and also on the female plant. Now they are very small and they have the scale leaves. So these are the scale leaves, and these bulbils are also developed from the axil of the scale leaves, and on this there are again the scale leaves. Now when the bulbil, or they are also called as the adventitious buds, then when they are developed on the male plant, then this bulbil is get developed only into the male plant, and when they are get developed on the female plant, then these bulbils are get developed only into the female plant. Now this is about the vegetative reproduction. Now second type, that is the sexual reproduction. Now here the plants are dioecious. That means the male plant and female plant completely, these are the two different plants. That means the male plant is different and female plant is different. Now the type of a sexual reproduction is oogamous, because the female reproductive structure is very large, it is dominant, it is stable. So the type of a sexual reproduction in cycas is the oogamous type. Now the plants are sporophytic in nature. That means they give the spore, so it is called as the, that means it gives the microspore and megaspore, so it is called as the sporophytic plant. Now the first, that is the male reproductive structure. So we are going to study the first part, that is the male reproductive structure. So this is the male plant, male individual of the cycas, and above the stem, in the crown of the leaves, at the center, there develop the male reproductive structure, which is called as the male cone or the male strobilus. It is a very large. It is the male reproductive structure, and in the plant kingdom it is very large. Now it is a compact structure, and there are developed a very large number of the microsporophyll. So this is the male cone, that is the male strobilus, and on this male strobilus, spirally arranged, compactly arranged, there are number of the triangular structures, and they are called as the microsporophyll. So all these are the microsporophyll externally. Now in the LS of the male cone, at the center there is the cone axis. At the center there is the cone axis. It is a very stout, it is a very large, and on this cone axis, spirally arranged triangular structures, they are called as the microsporophyll. And in the microsporophyll there are the Microsporangia. So this is the one structure of the microsporophyll. It is elongated and it is a triangular in outline, and it is get divided into the two parts. Now this is the dorsal view, that is the upper surface of the microsporophyll. The upper part is called as the apophysis, it is sterile, and the lower part is the fertile. So this is the ventral view, that is the lower side of the microsporophyll. Now again this is the apophysis, and toward the lower side there develop the reproductive structures. Now these reproductive structures are in group, and each group is called as the sori. So these are the sori. So this is also the sori, and on the sori there are a group of the Microsporangia. So these are the group of the Microsporangia. This is the lower surface of the microsporophyll. These are the sori. This is also the sori, and on this sori there are the Microsporangia. So these are the Microsporangia. This is again TS of the microsporophyll. This is the upper part of the microsporophyll, and toward the lower side there are the Microsporangia, and Microsporangia are in group. Now they are called as the Microsporangia because they develop the microspores. Now this is the structure of the Microsporangia. It is somewhat elliptic in outline. It has its own wall, and inside this there is the tapetum. So this is the wall of the Microsporangia, and inside this there is the tapetum. Tapetum provides the nourishment to the developing sporogenous tissue. Initially, here in this Microsporangia, there is the sporogenous tissue. Now all these sporogenous cell acts as a microspore mother cell. There it divides meiotically, and there is a formation of another kind of a spore, and these spores are called as the microspores. So in this Microsporangia, very large number of the microspores are getting developed. That means in this male cone, or in this male cone, very large number of microspores are getting developed into the Microsporangia. So this is the single Microsporangia, that is the structure of the Microsporangia. They are somewhat circular in outline, and it has two wall layers. Outer wall layer is called as the exine, and inner wall layer is called as the intine. And these Microsporangia, they are haploid in nature, because here in this Microsporangia they are getting developed after meiosis. So these microspores are haploid in nature. Now again, this is the microspore, or it is also called as the pollen grain. Now from this, the proper male reproductive structure, that is the male gametophyte, is getting developed. So this is the sequence of the male gametophyte. Now this is the microspore or the pollen grain. First it divides into the two unequal cells. The upper large cell is called as the antheridial initial cell. It is called as the antheridial cell, and lower small cell is called as the prothelial cell. Now in the next structure, there is the tube cell. Again, this is the antheridial cell, and toward the lower side there is the generative cell. Now again here there is the development of the body cell, pollen tube, and finally there is the spermatozoid. So this is the spermatozoid, that is the proper male reproductive structure, and this structure is called as the male gametophyte, in which the anthrozoids are getting developed, and the structure of the anthrozoid is like this. So this is the anthrozoid, that is the male reproductive structure, and these are the cilia, or they are also called as the flagella. This is the anthrozoid. So finally, after germination of this microspore, from each microspore there develops a single anthrozoid or the spermatozoid. That means from this male cone, that is from this male cone, after germination of the microspore, very large number of the male gametophyte, that means this anthrozoid are get formed. Okay, thank you.